1906 Anting T. Barnum was looking to stage of his churches with so many attractions. Then I saw an ad in the newspaper. It read, for sale, 10 acres of land, all buildings and improvements to run. Traveling Menagaris weren't anything new. They'd been around since ancient times. But Barnum wanted something more spectacular. He dressed up his Menagari with lakes and suns and charged admission for anyone who wanted to come and see the jagged exotic grass floating past their town. Of course. There were some problems with this plan, like when the raft got stuck on a sandbar and they had to lure the lions to get it moving again. Or when the bears started eating the scenery. Good nothing could dampen Barnum's spirits. He even came up with an explanation for why the animals seemed so sluggish. In reality, it was because most of them had been drugged to keep them calm during transport. But Barnum told his customers that these animals were naturally lazy because they were born under a lazy season in the month of August. This was all a big success until Barnum ran into some stiff competition. One day, two men jumped onto the raft pretending to be government inspectors. They told Barnum that they were here to check his paperwork for transporting endangered species. But before Barnum could hand it over, the inspectors jumped into his cages and freed the animals. Then they seized control of the raft and headed downriver. No, the two men didn't have an idea how to control a giant floating zoo full of angry carnivores. So instead of trying to navigate the river, they jumped into the water and tried to swim to shore. Unfortunately, the current was gone and both men were swept away and never seen again. With the threat of giving inspectors no money, the animals were rounded up and the show went on for another 4 weeks before finally running aground where it stayed for good. But where exactly did this bizarre journey begin? The story of the floating zoo is ultimately the story of the Island itself, an Island that didn't exist until tahun 1837, when a massive rock jam broke off from the mainland and floated all the way down the Penobscot River, eventually coming to rest near the mouth of the Kennebec. Though the island was formerly a natural disaster, by tahun 1905, it was a well-established community. There was a hotel and salon, and at least 2 sawmills on the island, so when Pinkley, Barnum saw that in the paper offering to sell the island for just $2,000, had thought he found the perfect spot for his new traveling zoo. But Barnum was the first person to try to make money off this unusual piece of land. In fact, the owner of the island, a lumberjack named John C. Shaw, had already tried to profit off by opening a tourist attraction of his own. From his hotel, Shaw offered lodging and food and then took his guests on tours around the island, showing them the local wildlife and having them shot in. Eventually, the hunters killed off most of the animals and tourists stopped coming, but Shaw wasn't done with the island yet. He had another idea to bring in business. Shaw spent some time in New York City and realized that people there loved to sell exotic animals. So when he returned to the island, he began to rallying on wild animals he could find, including moose, bears, mountain lions and foxes. Then he built some cages and started charging admission for people who wanted to come and hunt these exotic beasts. This was going well until only a boy snuck into the enclosure with a rifle and shot the island as only moose. When news of this hit the papers, the public turned on Shaw, saying him as some kind of animal rigged abusing villain. And to make matters worse, the charges of the dead moose ended up floating down the river and washing up in the middle of a church social, ruining the mood. Eventually, Shaw decided to abandon the island altogether. Writing an ad in the paper saying that he gave the whole thing away to the first person willing to haul it back to the mainland. Cut as when Pinky, Barnum stepped in, or rather paddled in. When Barnum first arrived at the island, he surveyed the land and concluded that the buildings and the earth were firmly planted on the ground. But after clearing some bullshit, he noticed the truth. There were more root and finally a whole forest of roots growing out of the ground and wrapping themselves around the base of the buildings and soaring from potted debris below. At this point, Barnum probably should have realized that he purchased a floating zoo, but he passed it on. So on May 4, tahun 1906, Barnum and his crew loaded the animals onto the raft and started paddling downriver. Well, the trip was meant to be a leisurely cruise, with destination for people who wanted to view his exotic beasts. The animals were loaded and placed in cages on the band, which was great for Barnum as bottom line, but not so good for the animals' mental health. A small group of boys then stalked into the enclosure and released the bear, before anyone could stop them. The bears had wandered into the nearby woods and emerged a few minutes later carrying scenery from Barnum S compound. Apparently, they derided the set of Robinson Crusoe and were taking souvenirs with them. While the bears were eventually sold and returned to their cages, only bear escaped again. This team wandering into a nearby house and walking up in the woman as bathtub. When Barnum heard about this, he paid the woman for her bath, and the bear ran to the bear bath, where the cages and fed it some chloroform to knock it oil. For Barnum, this was a normal day at the office, but it was one of the last days for this particular office because soon the island moved on without its owner. After being stuck in Augusta for several days, Barnum set off again, only to get stuck again on a sandbar. But thanks to a strong team of oxen, the raft was soon free and headed towards its next stop. With his teammate, Turtle, Barnum S. was starting to get a little tired of living on a raft, so they stopped at an island and began unloading the animals. But the next morning, they awoke to find the cages empty, as he turned oil. The loads had been weakened by moisture and most of the animals had escaped. Barnum S. spent the entire day tracking down animals and rounding them up again. And by the time they were gone, he had lost a kangaroo, 3 goats, a pig and a point. This was the last straw for Barnum. He abandoned the island and left the remaining animals on the shore, telling the locals that they were welcome to take the animals off his handle. Then he got on a boat and headed back to the mainland, and that brings us back to the beginning of our story. The island continued to drift downriver, carrying with it the remnants of Pete. Barnum S. failed so venturi. The animals had hunted and taken the locals eventually made their way back to the mainland, and today, there is nothing left of the floating zoo except a few old chains and the memories of those who saw Barnum S. Bizarre Sea Show. Thanks for watching.